with a panel of experts that I think is going to be really lead to a thought-provoking discussion. I'm honored to have been asked to be the host today. And before we begin, I really want to recognize the organizers of this event, which is Winter Growth and DMV Living. And so before we dive in and we meet the rest of the panel members, let's start out with our hosts, our host from Winter Growth and DMV Living. Uh, uh, tell us a little bit about yourself and your organization.
Harry, you want to
Yeah.
go first?
No, I
Okay,
think
I'll
you go
kick it off.
first,
I'll
and
kick it
then
off. I am Becky
Jared, whoever you.
Donahue. I work at Winter Growth, where Winter Growth is a nonprofit organization that supports the community by offering adult medical day services. And we also have small memory care assisted living, as well as the standard assisted living. And we are in Montgomery County as well as Howard County. And a little bit about me is many parts I've grown up at Winter Growth. I've been a part of Winter Growth since I was a high schooler and volunteering. So I fell in love with working with the elderly population, and I've just been blessed to be able to continue to support the aging community throughout my career. So, and
I
thank you all for joining us today.
oh, I love it. Thanks for putting this together, Rebecca. And then Terry and Jared from DMV Living. Let's get to know the two of you a little bit better, and then we'll go around our little round table here and meet everybody else.
Okay. So Jared Russell here. I lead a real estate group called DMV Living. We're powered by Real Broker, which is our brokerage. It sets high standards for realtors, so they could run their own successful businesses. So DMV Living is the group name. We started it in 2019, originally with a previous brokerage, and now we're with Real Broker. We focus on three main areas, which every client relationship has, and that's delivering excellent results with dedication, um, transparent and honest throughout the process, and then ensuring a smooth, stress-free experience from the very start to the finish, which is exactly why all these wonderful other vendors are here today, because they're a big part of that experience. So that's what we
Great.
do.
All right. And obviously a focus on older adults and their families is key to your all's success. Terry, would you like to share anything or
Sure.
did
Jared is modest, but he is an expert in real estate relate as it relates to seniors. And we come up with all kinds of programs that are free for seniors. Like we have a program where if someone's aging in place, that we'll go in and we'll take an assessment of how safe are they in their home? Do they need to have lights somewhere, or do they need to have a rug removed, or a handle put up in the bath, whatever, anything to keep them from falling and keep them safe. And programs that we do at senior living communities and villages. So pretty much just big advocates for seniors and that next chapter in someone's life, and making it not like it's the end of the road, but just another chapter.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, how about we do this, y'all? Is that let's quickly go around all of our panel members and let's get to know who you are and what you do. And then we can engage in a fun and thought-provoking roundtable discussion. So Barry gave me an agenda and that I think everybody has. So to make things easier, I'm just going to follow the order of the agenda. So first up, I've got Steve Lorberbaum with Assisting Hands. Steve, tell us a little bit about yourself and Assisting Hands.
Great. So again, thank you everyone for including us. I apologize if I have to jump off at some point because I am doing what all of you are doing. I am now down in Florida addressing some elder care challenges with my in-laws. We had to fly down sort of on an emergency basis earlier in the week. We're looking for home care down here. So what Assisting Hands does is we provide non-medical home care. And what that means is there's a distinction between home care and home health. So home health is OT, PT, wound care, things like catheter care. Those are all the things, speech pathology, are all part of what's covered by Medicare and private insurance and is home care, home health care. Home care is non-medical, and unfortunately, that's not covered by most insurance. It is covered by long-term care insurance, and it is covered by grants and by VA benefits and things like that. So there is a distinction. Home health care is typically time limited to 4 to 6 weeks, where home care is as long as people need it. So, I don't know, Steve, if you want me to continue on for, a full explanation, or we're going to come back to me later.
Yeah, let's come back to you. But and what I'm going to do, Steve, is I'll make sure that after we do this round, well, you're the first one, and so then you can share some more insights, tips, tricks, and then you can take off if you need to. And we hope your caregiving situation goes as well as it can. Okay, so next up, I've got senior life coach Jen Gruber.
Hey there. So I thanks Steve for the introduction. I'm Jen. I am a life coach. I'll keep this real brief for now. I help individuals and families navigate the difficult emotions that often accompany big life transitions.
I love it. Wow, what a great, very quick and concise to the point. That's amazing, Jen. All right, next on our list is Edward Jackson with Phoenix Consulting, and Ed, tell us a little bit about yourself and your organization.
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Ed Jackson. I'm a daily money manager with Phoenix Consulting. And a daily money manager is a trusted professional, helps you navigate bills, budgets, and record keeping. And some of the tasks would involve bill paying, day-to-day banking, budgeting, medical claims management, insurance paperwork, financial records organization, and then income tax records and receipts organization in preparation for annual filing.
I love it. And your profession of daily money managers is one of those professions that nobody knows about. And so I'm glad that we've got you on this roundtable today. Our next up on my list is Heidi Jacobs with Settling Seniors.
Hi, so I help families once they no longer are a fit in their home anymore. I help them find the right location. There are so many different options of senior living. It's kind of as personal as finding a home to buy or a new town to move into. So I help with all the aspects of that, and I'll get into more details of that later on.
I love it. All right. Next up, I've got Jane Stelborn, and I know I've mispronounced your name, Jane. Certified brain longevity specialist.
It's Jane Stelbaum. Thank you. And yes, I am a yoga teacher trainer and a certified brain longevity specialist through the Alzheimer's Research and Prevention Foundation. And I teach at a studio in Rockville called Thrive Yoga and at the Ben Gaither Community Center. And I also have my own company called Sarasvati, whose mission is to minimize the risk of Alzheimer's through lifestyle choices, including yoga and meditation. And I'm happy to share some of that with you later.
I love it. All right, Jane, thanks a lot. And sorry about botching your last name there. Now, a man that I could never botch his first or last name is Joe Sperling, who is a long-term care insurance specialist. Joe?
Thank you, Steve, and I appreciate both the accurate pronunciation of my name and the recollection of what I do. I've been in the insurance world for over 35 years, and I focus on long-term care coverage. The main goal is to help people feel really, really good protecting their families and themselves. And I'll share some thoughts when we go to do the longer round. But it's great to be here among these fabulous people. So thank you for including me.
All right. And our next panel member is Jamie Vila with Freedom Mobility, which is helping hundreds of thousands of people get around better.
We keep you moving. Yeah, I'm Jamie. Again, I'm with Freedom Mobility Solutions. I'm also a physical therapist. I use my expertise to help families navigate all those equipment options that are out there, whether that's durable medical equipment, home medical equipment, or even home modification and safety needs. So we figure out their goals and help to improve safety and quality of life. So they're able to consult with us.
Excellent. All right. And last but not least, we have Paula Gibson from Gibson Mediation, which is another profession like Edwards that a lot of people don't realize is out there and it's an option. Paula, tell us a little bit about yourself and your organization.
Okay. Thanks, Steve and Becky and Terry for hosting this. I founded the Gibson Mediation Group, and I work with families who are stuck on what to do with caring for their loved ones in their lives. Oftentimes, I'm looking at issues that have a legal component to it and trying to figure out who has the authority to do what. Oftentimes, people don't plan to age well. That includes a lot of the legal and financial things that they need. And I work with families figuring out what to do so that they can avoid going to court.
All right. I love it. Okay. Now, before I do the more detailed round where our experts share some of their insights, tips, thoughts that can help us all plan ahead for ourselves and our loved ones, I want to just check in with anybody who might be in the audience, and because we want to make sure that you walk away with some with questions answered that you need answered. So at any point in time, if you've got a question, if you've got a concern, if you've got something that you'd like to share, either just use chat and type it in, or just, open up your mic and say, I got a question. But any and all questions are encouraged. But what we're going to do is we're just going to take another lap around our experts here. So I'm going to head back to Steve Lorberbaum, primarily because he may have to leave early because of his own caregiving issue. And Steve, you want to talk to us a little bit more about aging in place and solutions for folks?
Sure. So there are lots of choices out there. And so I'm going to give you a little bit of rundown on the kind of choices people can look at when they need a little extra help at home. So first off, let's assume that no one wants help at home. No one wants a stranger in their house, right? Those are givens, right? No one likes to admit they're not on their A game, but it can really improve the quality of your life, or if you're living with a primary caregiver, the quality of their life. And so you can hire an agency, and there are about 250 agencies in Montgomery County, so we're not the only one. There's plenty of choices. And we all have different things we excel in that we're better at than certain other things. You can also hire a private caregiver, and there are pluses and minuses to doing that. So a little bit on hiring through an agency. When you hire with an agency, they're taking care of everything for you, right? All of the caregivers are vetted. They're all, generally speaking, certified nurse aides. They're licensed with the Maryland Board of Nursing. Background checks are being done. They're supervised at Assisting Hands, they're supervised by our nursing team. We withhold taxes. They're covered by our workers' compensation and their general liability insurance. And if they don't show up, we replace them. If you don't like them, we replace them. No questions asked. So that's a bundle of services, but it comes with a cost, right? If you hire a private caregiver, and you can do that through care.com or through a faith-based organization or a friend or your own housekeeper who elects to expand care to do some extra work, you're vetting them. You're not necessarily doing a criminal background check. You're not seeing whether they're licensed or not. They're not covered by workers' comp or general liability insurance. So there are risks to that. If you don't like them, you're the employer, so you have to deal with it. So again, that comes with a basket of responsibilities. The difference between the two, home care through an agency is more expensive. So typically the range of costs today for most home care companies, now I don't know everybody's rates, ranges somewhere between, call it $35 an hour for longer shifts, up to as much as $42 an hour for shorter shifts. Most home care companies work in blocks of time with a minimum block of 4 hours for continuity of care purposes. You want to make sure you can have a person who will come over and over again. And if you live in Potomac, chances are caregivers don't live in Potomac. They live in Rockville or Silver Spring, and they're driving through our traffic to get to your house. And they don't want to spend the time to only work for 2 hours. So they typically work in blocks, and you can figure that out and hire them for as much or as little as you need. We had a client right now, the husband is taking care of his wife. She's bedbound. She needs to get up and toilet at night, and he's exhausted. He hasn't slept. So we're only coming in a few nights a week so that he can get a good night's sleep a couple of nights a week. So that's the kind of thing that home care companies can do. We can work for 4 hours, a couple of days a week, to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You pick it. If you have long-term care insurance, we're covered by long-term care. I assume most home care companies will submit on behalf of the individuals. We do. We'll also review policies for people. My past is I'm a lawyer, so I'm comfortable looking at legal documents and letting people know what their options are. Not everyone is probably that comfortable with them, so I can't speak to everyone else. So again, lots of choices out there as to what you can do, and you have to decide what's best. If cost is the most important consideration, then an agency is not your best choice. If ease is your most important consideration, an agency might be the way to go.
I love it. Thanks, Steve. And all right, let's go next to Jen Gruber, Senior Life Coach. Jen, any words of wisdom that you'd like to share? Dive a little bit deeper into your to solutions that you are exposed to.
I'm happy to share. I just wanted to double check and make sure that Jared had covered everything he wanted to cover. I know he was a little
holy cow!
earlier than me on the
Sorry,
agenda.
because and actually, Jared and Winter Growth. I'm just these two organizations are up on this big pedestal here that's out of my field of vision for organizing this today. So Jared, you want to share some words of wisdom, and then we'll go to Rebecca at Winter Growth, because I want to make sure that people understand what adult daycare is.
Yeah, I appreciate that actually. So I think the idea for everybody that's coming to see all these panelists, one of the benefits is all of us are fairly diverse in what we do. We have a specialty, our company does something. There isn't a focus area overlap from any of us. However, I think that every single one of us should be brought on to an older adults team, meaning you turn 55 years old and you're healthy and you're playing golf for whatever it is, tennis, you're doing all kinds of things. You typically don't really want to think about this phase of your life. And gripping with this transition, you don't onboard us as a team. And so lawyers, they get this retainer, in case a problem happens, not necessarily there is a problem. I would tell everybody here that is seeing or listening to all of us talk that all of us should be entertained to be brought on, even when our services are not needed. It's the idea that you have a plan who to use when. So let's say someone wants to move to a senior living community at some point. Well, Heidi here helps people find them, but you don't necessarily wait to hire somebody when you need that service. You hire us before you need the service. Let's say you're looking at longevity. You don't wait till the end to then call Jane and say, I now need some help, get some, my body moving. You should do it earlier on. And that same story goes to everybody, same with insurance. You call Joe early on. You do everything earlier is the point. You call Paula to get your documents organized. You don't wait for any one of us for a need. You should wait for the situation to arise with us already on board. And so I would say that realtors are also kind of funky in the sense that we're transactional. At least that's what everyone thinks of us as. And I'm not really transactional. I connect with people early on. I find out what they need. If they need to figure out financials and organization on their finances, maybe say, okay, now you need to talk to Edward. And so I like to shepherd people through the process of whatever their needs are with these other vendors early on. And I think it's important that everyone is brought onto that team. So, without talking about real estate too much today, which I could talk till everyone passes out about it, I would just say that is probably a wise decision, is to treat us all like a team to bring us on.
Great words of wisdom there, Jared. Thank you so much again for putting this discussion together. And let's go to our other co-producer of this event, Winter Growth, Rebecca at Winter Growth. I'd mentioned I'd love it if you'd say a few words about adult daycare, which is one of the services that you provide, because just like Edward and Daily Money Management and Paula with mediation, I often find when I bring up adult daycare, no one's ever heard about it before.
Right. Absolutely true. So many people go, oh my gosh, that's really a service out there for older people. And so that's definitely one of my personal missions for sure, is to let people know that adult medical day is an option. Many times when they are faced with that, they don't realize the plethora of options and services out there. They often, kind of go to either home care or got to move mom somewhere kind of thing. And they don't realize that there's another option in place. And so adult medical day, I think really is that other option that exists for families, so that they can hopefully maintain and have their loved one live with them for as potentially as long as possible, or until the end, because we are able to provide that respite for that 24/7 caregiver, so that they can recharge and, be ready to care for their loved one when they return home from the program. So that's definitely one piece. And I often call the caregiver is one of our clients, to say we are there to support them, provide education, provide different resources. Obviously one of the reasons why we wanted to put this together is for the families that we serve. But then to our primary client, our participant, it's so important for our folks to have a sense of purpose. And for many folks who we serve, many are, I would say probably 90% plus have some form of memory impairment and or a physical condition that oftentimes creates boundaries and barriers for them to get out and be involved in the community. So adult medical day plays that place of purpose for folks who want that sense of community connection, but going out into the community independently obviously would be unsafe for many different reasons. So again, creating that place of purpose for them so they can interact and engage with folks who may be on similar steps or progression of different diseases. So not only can they connect and find friendships in that way, but they're doing it in a safe, supervised, stimulating environment. So I think that's really what I think about for adult day.
I love it. Thanks again, Rebecca with Winter Growth. And okay, next on my list is talk about having purpose is Jen Gruber. who's a senior life coach. So, Jen, you want to share some insights and ideas with us?
Yeah, absolutely. So lots of people don't understand what a life coach is or does. So I'll kind of explain that to you a bit. Partly what you just saw between Steve and me a few minutes ago. Steve has a lot that he's keeping track of today, and when he called on me, it's like, hang on, Steve, take a step back. Like, and so a lot of what I do is helping people to get really clear on their goals and priorities when we're going through big life transitions. There's a lot of times so much chaos, so many things going on that it's hard to maintain sight of the big picture. So helping people get really clear on goals and priorities and then make a plan and helping them kind of stick to that plan is a big part of what I do. The reality is there's a lot of loss involved in aging, as you all know. Like I said before, I help people navigate some of the tough emotions that often go along with that. As we get older, I know I'm 58. I can't see as well as I used to. The reading glasses, are getting stronger and stronger. My knees are definitely creakier. Mobility. People often lose mobility as they get older. Hearing, losing loved ones, we lose people close to us. As people retire, a lot of times they lose the sense of identity that was involved in the work they did. The sense of purpose that came with working or those social relationships. So when we look at the next chapter and possibly bringing someone into our homes to help us out, like Steve was talking about, or potentially moving, there's loss involved in that too. Loss of independence, loss of maybe a home that we love or a community that we feel a part of. And oftentimes we hear from people, you need to just look on the bright side, focus on the positive, find the silver lining. That's kind of the common narrative that people tell us all the time. And these are really well-intentioned friends and loved ones who want to help us, and they want to help us by telling us that we should be approaching these changes with a positive attitude. But what happens is when we're already overwhelmed with trying to decide whether to move and trying to decide what realtor to work with and figuring out where we're going to go and or making home modifications, all those things. And then we're also feeling sad about the fact that these changes are coming because we haven't necessarily, they're not changes that we necessarily wanted or are welcoming. Then, if we're also spending a lot of energy trying to make ourselves feel happy and excited, that's just completely exhausting. So of course, we're not going to have a lot of energy left to clean out the closet or the basement or whatever that task is that needs to be done. So when I or another coach works with clients, a lot of what we're doing is not dwelling on the sad parts or the negative parts, but acknowledging that all of those feelings make sense and we're not wrong for feeling that way. And then we talk about like what are our goals? What does an ideal day look like in this new chapter? What do you love about your life now, and how can you incorporate that into this new chapter? We also talk about how to have the tough conversations that often go along with transitions, talking with people who want to tell us what we should be doing or who want to give us unwelcome advice, or how to have conversations with people who really don't want to listen to us. So that's all part of what I do as well. So bottom line is I help people figure out what a happy and fulfilling next chapter looks like for them, and then I help them create a plan for making that happen.
I love it. We all need a life coach at different stages in our life. So thank you, Jen.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
Next on my list is Edward Jackson, a daily money manager. Edward, share with us some insights that can be helpful.
Sure. Thanks, Steve. I wanted to also add, I know it's the profession is new to most people. They haven't heard of it, but I am a member of the American Association of Daily Money Managers, which is an internationally recognized professional association of daily money managers. We always just use the term DMM. The members have undergone background checks, and we must adhere to a strict code of ethics and standards of practice. ADAM, that's the acronym for it, promotes excellence in services through a voluntary certification program, emphasizes both experience in the field and continuing education. Um, and I basically consider myself, and I think other DMMs do as well, as a member of a team of professionals like yourself. So um, I consider myself the person that's in the weeds. So sometimes it's just as simple as helping someone figure out what their budget is. They don't have any idea, what's going out, what's coming in. You go in situations and people haven't paid their light bill for months. And I had a client one time, and he was in decline, and so we were trying to figure out how long, as morbid as this sounds, how long he would be able to, how long his money would last before he were to pass on. And so I had to did a projection for him in that way. Also, I have a list of resources, most of the people on this panel here. So if people need help with their wills, any of the estate planning things that need to be done, I've got a list of estate planning attorneys that can help you prepare documents like the wills, trusts, power of attorney, financial and healthcare, living wills, advanced directives, and I just recently read that 6 in 10 adults don't have a will. So that's kind of terrifying in a way. Um, and so it's important to have those documents because I think we all know stories where there's been all this strife between families. I guess Paul would probably speak to that better than most of us. Um, if no one knows what's going on, there's nothing set in place. The family member passes on, then you've got family members fighting amongst themselves and all, and it's just never a good situation. But another thing I can do also is I keep an eye out when I'm working with a client, and sometimes you have you know, the fraud is unfortunately rampant these days. Um, and sometimes there's situations where it's a family member that's had a situation where the family member was in charge of the financial piece, and there was talk about calling in adult protective services because it was thought that the family member was not handling the finances in the family member's best interest. So again, the other thing I would add is that a lot of our DMMs have different skill sets. So you may find someone that's, say, particularly an expert in taxation, and so they may be able to do your taxes as well. It's not necessarily just the simple, in the weeds stuff like bill paying, day-to-day banking and all. And I have some colleagues that only deal with high net worth individuals. So you can find whoever you might need or want. I'm going to put the website in the chat here, and you can look, and they're all in around the area. We have a lot of DMMs in the DMV here. So if you had a certain area like Silver Spring or Rockville or wherever, you could probably find someone very specific to your area. I myself service pretty much the entire DMV to a point. I also work remotely. I think we're all forced to work remotely after the pandemic, whether you wanted to or not. But that's also an opportunity to work with people that might be further away. And if they wanted to use you, you could do that as well. I'll stop talking for now.
Well, no, that's great, Edward. And like I've talked to many people that have hired daily money managers, and oftentimes when it's not remote and it's a face to face, a lot of times they'll weave in hey, I'm going to be there on Wednesday, and if I'll take you to your doctor's appointment or what have you. It begins to expand a little bit, but every practice
Yeah.
is different.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Next up on the list is our senior housing specialist, Heidi Jacobs with Settling Seniors.
Hi, yes. So thank you for having me. So I basically understanding senior living and exactly what you need and what you're looking for can be really complex. So I worked in senior living for 25 years as an executive director and a marketing director in different communities, family owned, memory care, assisted living. So I help people determine what their actual need is. Some people don't understand the differences between 55 plus, independent, assisted, memory care, skilled nursing. And then I try to help the family really zone in and understand what their particular needs are, the cost and budget, location. And every community is very, very different. So I had a client that I moved his wife this month. This was her fourth move. In the last three moves he did on his own. He really didn't know what he was doing. And he kept moving her into assisted living. He was working with marketing directors at the communities and they were moving her in. She really needed memory care the entire time. And we found her a memory care community. So I try to also work with where the decline might be coming, what the disease is, so that we don't have to move somebody and then move them again in 2 months. And one of the things that I like to really work on with families also is making a plan before they need senior living. I have a binder I put in place. We choose where you'd like to go. We choose everything. Even if you say you'd like to stay home, I help you choose your home care and get everything in place, but then also have a plan so that if you do ever need assisted living, there's a lot of forms and documents that they have to move you in. So if you have those already in a binder and you have an emergency, you already have your place picked out, then all of that can be something that you can be calm about. I do free consultations with families just to try to help them understand where they or their loved ones are and what their goals are. And so I'll put my phone number, my website, and my email in the chat. And if you'd like to have a free consultation, I'd love to speak with you.
I love it. Thanks so much, Heidi. Okay. Next, we have Jane, our certified brain longevity specialist. Jane, share with us some insights.
Okay, well, I thought, and I usually come in sort of halfway through this presentation, that you might like a little stretch break, okay? Because we've been looking at the screen and sitting for a while. So I'm going to pop over to my mat over here, and I invite you to stand up if you'd like. You can also do this from a chair. But just to like stretch a little bit, let's just take your shoulders back a few times. Yeah. And then lower those shoulders, turn your palms forward, and feel how your feet can root down on the ground. So clearly you could do this from a chair, both feet on the floor, sitting nice and tall, nice long spine. And take a couple of breaths here and actually roll your eyes. So look up like 12 o'clock on the clock, look down 6 o'clock. Look to the right, look to the left. Do it one more time, up to 12. Now go to the opposite side first, and then down and around. Yeah, it probably felt good on your eyes, right? Inhale, stretch up. Keep those feet rooted down. Lower your shoulders. Stretch your fingers towards the corners of the room. And just feel how tall you can get, how long in the spine. Good. And as you inhale, lift up a little taller, drop one arm, and take the other arm over to the side. Yeah, doesn't matter which side, because we're going to get to both. And then inhale, reach up, and go to the other side. Just nice to stretch the spine in different directions, especially when you've been sitting for a while. And inhale, reach up. And exhale, bring your hands down to your heart. Okay. Either from sitting or standing, you could take your feet a little wider. If you're on the chair, come to the front of your chair. Bring your hands to your thighs here, or you can bend your knees a little bit and come here. And then lift your heart, find a little back bend. Yeah, hold it there and breathe. Just feel the stretch across the front of your body. If you're at the chair, you could hold the back of the chair and lift your heart. Feel how open across the chest you feel, the lungs open, the heart opens. And then bring your forearms onto your lap if you're seated. If you're standing, bend the legs a little bit and just place your hands here. Keep the spine long. A little more forward bending action. And then inhale and reach up. And exhale to your heart. Good. All right. Take a seat, make yourself comfortable. So, as you've heard, I'm a yoga instructor, a teacher trainer here in the DMV, and I have a special niche on brain longevity. So, my concern as it comes to all of you is I want to make sure that as you age or as your loved ones age, they're able to reach up into the cabinet and pick something out, right? Or they can get down on the floor to pick something up or play with a grandchild, right? That you can drive in your car and turn around and look over your shoulder, even though we have those rear view things now. It's nice to be able to turn around, right? And that you can remember the names of all of your loved ones. Okay. People think of yoga as, oh, I have to twist into a pretzel, and I can't do that. I'm not very flexible. But the truth is, yoga can help your range of motion. It can help you build strength. It can help you tremendously with balance. It can help you manage your stress, which is very important for your brain health, okay? Managing our stress, right? And so it's a really incredible tool. And just to give you one other example, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes for a minute or softly gaze at something without really focusing on it. And just come to your breath. And watch the breath without judging it or changing it in any way. Simply watch the breath. Notice how long the breath is and how short it is. One more just like that. Just feel the expansion in the body. Feel the softening as you exhale. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes. And I hope that experience of just watching your breath for a moment or two helped to slow down the thoughts a little bit, slow down the heart a little bit, give you a little bit of calm. Okay. So whether you are someone who's worried about your future brain health, or you're caring for somebody who already has memory issues, or you are somebody who already has memory issues, I work with people in groups. I go anywhere I'm invited to teach workshops and different tools and techniques and lifestyle choices that you can make to keep yourself brain healthy. I go into living rooms for parlor talks. I do speeches for 500 people and everything in between. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions for you later. Thanks so much for joining in on that.
I love it, Jane. That was a great demo. And do you do it looks like since you did that demo so well here on Zoom, do you work with some clients on Zoom remotely?
I do. I do. I can
Excellent.
go in person or remotely.
I love it. All right. Well, now that we're all calm, we can talk about something that is uh should make us even more calm if we plan in advance and get long-term care insurance. That's Joe Sperling is our expert on this topic.
Steve, thank you for that lead in. Uh, and Jane, I want you to know I feel about 2 inches taller now. So thank you for that. And I really appreciated Jen's comments about getting older, because we all are. And aging, I think aging aside from being a state of mind, age is just a number. Mine is unlisted. It's just a number. Jared had some very good comments about planning ahead. And Steve, thank you for echoing that. And in that vein, and with the concept of long-term care, the subject of my thoughts here, I would invite everyone to take a moment, take a real moment, and think about some questions I'm going to ask you. When, at what age, do you think you're going to need care? Some people have an idea, most people have no clue. How about, where do you want to be when care is provided? Home or some other venue? Most people are going to think home, but that may not be the right place. How long will you need care? I guess that kind of depends on what creates the problem, but it could be short, it could be long. If dementia is a factor, it could be very long. Who will provide care? Think it's going to be your family, your kids, your grandkids, or some professional? It takes real thought. What's it going to cost? Steve gave us an idea of what home care costs are. Needless to say, it's not going to be cheap. Who or what will pay for the care? It's not going to be Medicare. So give some thought of where the money is going to come from. If you will be paying personally, think about what assets you're going to liquidate first, and next again, to pay for the care. If you have already obtained long-term care insurance, and some of you have, many of you haven't, but if you did, how long has it been since you looked at the policy? You know where it is? Do your adult children know where that policy is? Because they're the ones that should be paying attention. If you don't have a policy yet, do you think you will be eligible to get one? It's medically underwritten, so it's not automatic. Just because you want it, you can have it. Do you know the difference between traditional long-term care insurance and the hybrid life insurance with long-term care riders that are now available? There are differences. Are you aware of the options and design features that are available with each policy? Do you know which type and design you personally would prefer? If you don't qualify for a policy, are you aware of alternatives to pay for care, such as, say, annuities or reverse mortgage, home equity line of credit? If you're a veteran, maybe the VA, aid and attendance. These questions that I've asked, you may not know the answers to. I can help you. I can help guide you. And whether it's me or another insurance broker with a specialty in long-term care coverage, talk to someone, get guidance, be able to answer all of these questions and more, and get some coverage. I guarantee you, when you put protection in place, you will feel wonderful that you've done so. Thank you for the attention. I'm Joe Sperling, but I'm not your average Joe.
Oh, Joe, I love it. You always put a smile on my face. And I like that guarantee. We haven't had a guarantee yet today. So all right. Our next panel member is Jamie Vila, who's with Freedom Mobility. And something that you might not know about Jamie is she's a monster pickleball player. I've seen her in action at the Shepherd Center Pickleball Classic. But Jamie, share with us some insights, or if you want to help me with my forehand, that would be good too.
Thank you. We haven't played together in a while, but yes, pickleball's the new tennis. I mean, I am a little bit obsessed with pickleball, but I also am obsessed with medical equipment, whether that's durable medical equipment or home medical equipment. So that's one of the things that Freedom Mobility Solutions specializes in. So I definitely want to differentiate a little bit of how we are and what I do and our showroom teams, compared to just the standard DME or insurance-based equipment. So for one, we have two very large showrooms in the DMV. So I think that's really important to highlight is that we have places where families can go and actually make informed decisions. Like you can actually try equipment and see if it's the right fit for you before you make an investment. So I recommend anyone looking for any type of equipment to come by one of our showrooms in Hanover, Maryland or Ashburn, Virginia. Some of the equipment that differs is we're actually not an insurance provider. So that's something that's important to know. Medicare and insurance will cover a certain bit of equipment as people age. But it tends to be a bit more of a one size fits all. I mean, there's nothing wrong with going with what you get through insurance. It's just you don't have a lot of choice, you don't have a lot of selection. So that's kind of where we step in. We have high quality vendors and options that are different from that. So I always like to use our hospital beds, and I know Steve's mentioned that before, as an example. Insurance, you're pretty much going to get one option for a bed, as well as a mattress. That's kind of what's going to be covered by Medicare. We carry about 8 different types of hospital beds. I know we've talked about memory care and cognitive decline. Just as an example of something that we carry is a hospital bed that actually descends all the way down to the floor. So if you have a family member that's struggling with safety awareness and getting up at night or sundowning, this is a really nice bed that could really improve the safety of your loved one. So they're not getting up at night and falling, preventing a hip fracture. We know a lot of falls lead to those. So that is something that's different that's covered from Medicare. So we also have hospital beds that may not look like hospital beds. So they look more like a home style bed, but they are fully functioning medical hospital beds. So again, just an example of just like different options that you can have. We also do power chairs and scooters. A lot of the trends are for these lightweight power chairs that you can fold up and put in your car. So we want you to be able to come and try them and find the right fit because they're all a little bit different. So that gives you an avenue to kind of try those chairs as well. Other things that we do carry are transfer lifts. So if you're caring for a loved one or things get a little more difficult, there's several transfer lifts that we carry that we also rent that can make your life a lot easier caring for a loved one. So our showroom consultants and myself as a PT, we like to problem solve with you. So we want to problem solve with our clients to see what's going on. What are your goals for the equipment? And what's your budget? All 3 of those things are very important. So we try to narrow down things that meet your individual situation. So that I think we're very, very good at. We'll narrow down for you. We'll find something that hopefully will make your life safer and you can age with dignity and will help your caregivers. So that's one of the primary focuses that we have at Freedom Mobility. The other aspect we do also is we do like home modification light. So we're not doing full renovations. So that's also like a thought process. Everybody kind of initially wants to age in place. Sometimes it's not practical. Sometimes those renovations can cost a lot of money. So we do a lot of modifications that may not require a lot of maintenance or a lot of cost, and also that you can rent. So stair lifts, ramps, we do a lot of modular ramps, grab bars, adding railings, things that are very simple, why, you're kind of making those decisions. So we can always talk you through those options as well. So home accessibility and also home medical equipment. That's pretty much what we focus on. Thank you.
All right. That's great to know about the rentals. I think so many times people think that they have to buy these accessibility products, and especially if you're going through rehab. I mean, you're hopefully going to get better and get back on your feet. And so thank you, Jamie.
Yeah, we do a lot of rentals for those options.
Excellent. All right. We're back around. We've made our second lap, and now our I can't come up with anything witty about our Paula Gibson with Gibson Mediation. She's a mediator, and she is our gosh. What do you call the fourth batter in a lineup? Why am I blanking? It's not
I don't
baseball
know, but you
season.
could call me the caboose.
No.
Clean up. Clean up.
Cleanup, yeah, or cleanup bat, yeah.
I'm gonna
It's
bet
football
cleanup.
season still. I'm not in baseball mode. Yeah. You're not a caboose. You're our engine, Paula,
Okay.
and you're the engine that helps connect families that might have some kind of conflict going on, right?
Absolutely. Well, just from sitting here and listening to everyone talk, I can really feel everyone's enthusiasm for what you do. And so I'm really, excited to be a part of this panel and glad that everyone tuned in, because you're caring about what you might need to do. And so I think with what I do as a mediator, it's easiest if I kind of explain how I get people in my office, my virtual office. And usually what happens is I'll get a call from an adult child. And they'll say, my mother or my father, they're deteriorating. I don't know what to do. My family, I don't even talk to my sister anymore. I don't even see my brother. I live close to mom, and I need to try to help her, but she won't listen to me. And so a lot of times communication has broken down within a family. There's a medical crisis with an older adult, and things need to get done. Things meaning, let's have a conversation about who's going to care for that parent. And so when that adult child calls, I will then try to get a family meeting going, where I will reach out to all the siblings in the family to find out if they're available to speak about mom or dad, so that a plan can be made. What do I mean by a plan? A plan of action, so that they can have that conversation about, will we age in our home? Do we need to contact someone like Steve and bring someone in? Do we need to perhaps put our house on the market and contact Jared? Am I having some issues where I need to talk about things, individually? Maybe they'll see Jen. Oh, what's our financial situation like? We might need to talk to Edward about that. And so on and so forth. But what I do is I listen to what the concerns are of the adult and of the adult children, and try to have them agree about what needs to get done. And so oftentimes nothing has been established in writing that's a legal document that everybody needs when they're either going to move or they're going to have a medical crisis. And so that would be an advance directive. That's appointing someone to be your healthcare agent. So I would talk through that adult parent about who that person might be. You want to make sure that you choose somebody who's going to be an advocate for you, not just anybody who would just sort of roll over to what a doctor might suggest. You want someone who's really going to represent your interests. So I talk about that with that adult parent. And then I talk about the importance of having a successor agent. What if in the event your main agent is not available for you? Who might that be? And then most importantly, make sure that those people that you're going to appoint in this legal document know that they are your agents. Oftentimes people don't know that. They haven't talked with their healthcare agent that they're going to be their agent for them if something happens. Also in the financial piece, you will want to have someone who can stand in your shoes in the event that you become incapacitated. whom do you know that you could appoint to deal with your finances? Have you thought about a trusted individual who might be okay with balancing a checkbook, or that you know is not going to go to your ATM account the minute you give them the authority to be your agent and take all the money out of the bank? So you'll want to have somebody, while you have all your capacities, to be appointed to be your financial agent for you. It's called a durable power of attorney document. And again, that's something that needs to be signed and notarized and given to the person who is going to be your trusted agent. And then you also need to have a backup agent. And so I have these difficult conversations because sometimes the family dynamics are tricky, because maybe the older sibling who used to always live with the adult parent would balance the checkbook or would run to the store and get groceries. And now that person's in San Francisco and is no longer in the picture, but thinks they should still be that person. So I reality check a lot of what family members might be thinking their roles should be, and try to also talk with the adult parent about what they want to have happen. Because as the adult, you have the say in your life until you no longer do. So while you are alive and healthy and you're attending these types of presentations, you're learning all that you can so that you can be empowered to make a plan to age well, so that your medical, legal, and financial documents are all in order. And so lastly, at a minimum, everyone should have a will. So I talk about that. And so as an attorney, I can do these documents for my clients who come to me. Of course, I get informed consent to make sure that I'm sitting with the older adults separately and I'm understanding what they want to have happen. But then the most important thing to do then is to have that conversation with everyone in the family who is a player in this adult person's life, so that they understand what the next steps are, who has what role. So there's not this fighting, there's not this bickering, and there's a plan to go forward, and everybody knows when there's an emergency or if something's going to happen and deteriorate with one of our parents, we have a plan, and we have a plan to age well. And that can be super empowering for the older adult, because they know that they've talked this through, they've let their children understand what needs to get done and what their wishes are. And it's very comforting, as we've heard before, that once you make that plan, you feel good. Like Joe had said, I reviewed my options for life insurance. Now I know what kind of policy I might be able to buy, and this is what's going to work for me. So once you have those difficult conversations with a neutral person, which I find is what is helpful for the mediation and why it works, because I'm that neutral person who doesn't have any skin in the game. I am just asking questions, getting information, and trying to support everybody in reality check about what needs to get done. And so at the end, kind of what I do is, I don't know if you can see this, but it's I make this medical, legal, and financial plan binder, so that everybody who needs to have a copy of this has it, and the clients know where to find it. They're not locking it in a safe deposit box where no one can get to it, but they're putting it in a place where people can find it. And it's a very critical binder with other information as well, some of your finances, last digits of bank accounts, things like that. But nonetheless, it is a plan to age well, and I work with families, and I do this with individuals too, and I provide complimentary consultations for folks. So if that's ever something you're interested in, I'd love to be able to help you. And if I can't help you, one of my other colleagues here on this Zoom call can be the person that I would refer you to, because I stay in my lane. I know what I need to do with the families. And if it's something beyond what I do, I refer them out to some of these people here. So that's what I do.
I love it. All right. We got through everybody. And this has been a fascinating conversation, and lots of resources. I'm hopeful for anybody that's out there, either in a crisis situation or planning ahead. But before we kind of wrap up with just an open forum, I just want to make sure that if there's any questions for any of our panel members or all of our panel members, to give people the opportunity, including our panel members, because as we found out, Steve Lorberbaum he's a caregiver himself. So we can kind of close things out here with some open forum discussion. So just either open up your mic or just throw it in chat. And if we don't,
This is Heidi.
Yeah.
I'll just say I love how we all, if you can see anyone that's visiting our panel today, how we all work together. I always call all of these folks speaking today my toolbox. When I'm working with my families, I discover all of their things. I think we're all asking a lot of the same questions, trying to discover their fears, their goals, their needs, and then pulling the people out of my toolbox that can help them, whether it's they've got to place a house on the market, they need a life coach to talk to, they need a financial. It's just like we've all talked about. Um, it's just trying to find the solutions for everyone's problems and not pretending like we're the expert at all of it, right? We all have the things that we understand, that we do really well, and then each individual that we have on this panel can help us as well. So I just wanted to chime in and just say that I'm just so grateful for everybody in this toolbox that work together, and it makes my job so much easier. So I don't have to understand all of the other things I don't understand.
Love
Hi.
it.
I get your email, the positive aging email, and I just look at it all the time, and I'll go and hit resources and stuff, and I always forget that where you're located. I'm in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Yeah, no, we're primarily myself is I'm located in the Northern Virginia, and most of these panel members are in the DC metro area. But the cool thing is that every single option that you're hearing about here today is also in Chattanooga and other parts of the country. But share with us some of the stuff that's on your mind, because this is a great group of experts. And actually, the fact that we're geographically separated, you really don't have to worry about any of us trying to sell you anything either, you know?
Well, I'm very involved in all aspects of end of life, from burial, green burial, and I'm just an information source. And I'm in the process of, I'm not sure if you've all heard of the Funeral Consumers Alliance, but I'm in the process of creating one here in Tennessee. So I like
Excellent.
to have all the resources, just an information hub. So just to either reach out and have some of y'all as resources that do Zoom, or to try and find people in Chattanooga. It was really eye-opening, and I appreciate most of all how y'all work together and support each other. And I was happy to be on the call.
I love it. And
And
Rhonda,
just sorry,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, on a side note, I have two sons who are both in minor league baseball as umpires.
Oh, wow. Oh, you tuned in earlier when I was
Yeah,
talking about that.
yeah.
Yeah. But Rhonda, a couple of things. On Friday, Steve Lorberbaum is moderating a webinar with Chris Palmer, who is the author of Achieving a Good Death. And I highly recommend that you tune into that. It's at proaging.com. He's an amazing end of life speaker, and you will just be blown away at the his just the language and the way that he approaches end of life decisions is just amazing. And
And I'm
then,
sorry, Steve, where would I get that information?
oh, just go to proaging.com,
Okay,
go to my website and look on upcoming discussions, and you can RSVP for it.
thank you.
And
And
I
then
will say, with all
yeah, go ahead.
deference to Chris, it's the guy who asks questions that really is the most
Yeah,
amazing part of that. Just
I
saying.
meant to say that. Did I misspeak? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The other thing, Rhonda, I I went to Chattanooga for the first time since a child. In October, I competed in a 32-mile paddleboard race called
Oh, wow.
Chattajack.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
I've seen it go on. There's so much that goes on here. It's just a fabulous little city.
It's a great community.
It is a great
and
community.
and this was an awesome event, and I plan on if I can get in, I'll try to get in again next year, and maybe I can you and I can have a cup of coffee.
Steve, do you mind if I jump in? I have a couple things for Rhonda, actually.
Absolutely. Jump in. Yeah.
I think a lot of us as resources would be a great resource anywhere around the country. So I can't speak to every single panelist here. I don't know how insurance works across state lines. I would say someone like Jen Gruber is phenomenal on the phone, right? So her resources is going to be excellent. You can give her a call. She can support you. You don't have to be local to that area. So someone in Tennessee or anywhere around the country, I would imagine it, she's very unique and rare, and you're not going to find a comparable service probably in Tennessee from what she provides. It's kind of unique, but she's a great one. I would say the same thing for Paula. I don't know, Paula, your world necessarily, but that binder she held up, I don't think you're going to find one in Chattanooga. Someone that has that same specific concept. When she said she stays in her lane, I think it's because she's related to a variety of other resources, but she has such a specific little tiny niche that it's going to be unique to everyone over there. My world is one of the most common. You can throw a stone and hit a realtor. Um, but I think from that same concept, because we're so common as a profession, it's not as common to find a specialty within the realtor profession. So from my side, I don't find as many colleagues that understand and handle this sort of demographic. The families that need help, their needs are really specific. When I talk to other realtors, I'm like talking another language with them. I work with a realtor every part of the country. So we have partnerships that are unique. So I like to be a realtor resource specifically across the country, even though I'm not in your area. So I can support with that dramatically. And so I would urge you to take a look at all of us to see if maybe we can still plug in for your area. I also think anyone moving from around the country,
Y'all down.
there you go. Moving from around the country, a lot of us can support your needs. Now, I think some of the other panelists, after myself talking, if any of you think that you can support like a vendor partnership or a service across the country, that you should all just speak up too, as part of what we're all saying here today, so that way everyone knows that you're capable of leaving the DMV and your help.
I believe I'm licensed in about a dozen states, and I think Tennessee is one of them. And it's very easy to get licensed in a state if I'm not already there. So in terms of long-term care insurance, I can help just about anybody anywhere except New York.
Thank y'all. I appreciate I appreciate all that. And I like I said, I'm in the process of getting this website together. I'm also got a couple of my hands in. I'm the admin for the Home Funeral Association, Home Funeral Alliance. So I love death and aging, and I appreciate that.
I'd like to know more about Green Funeral. So if you want to plop a link in to the chat, I'll grab it.
Well, I would go to the Green Funeral. I think there's global green burial, or just look up green burial. It's the most. I think it's probably it's the cleanest as far as environmentally way you can go. And that's how I got into this, just quickly. And I don't want to take up all your time, but I watched 6 Feet Under. I saw a wicker casket and I said, I'm there. And that's been like 25 years ago. And that started my journey. So, yeah, I could talk about it all day.
Well, when our society makes death depressing, but actually when you think and talk about death, you're actually thinking and reflecting on how you want to live your life. And once you shift that mindset, like what did you say? I wanted to get a t-shirt that said I love death, or whatever you said there, Rhonda. That was great.
And this isn't my thing, but I'm actually hosting a death chat, CHATT, Chattanooga, death chat on Friday, and talking about death won't kill you.
Yeah, that's another good t-shirt. It's actually a really good t-shirt. That's something that somebody's going to talk to you in the grocery store checkout line if you've got that on your back. Or they'll run away from you. Anyways, let's see. We've been together for about an hour and 15 minutes. If there's any other discussion topics or things that we can chat about, I'm certainly open to facilitating that. This has been recorded. I'll make sure to upload it to YouTube so that we can all share it and get it over to Margaret at Winter Growth. Any sort of parting thoughts, closing comments, questions?
I just want to say thank you again. Thank you, Terry, so very much at DMV Living, Steve at Positive Aging. Thank you so much. And I just really appreciate spending the Wednesday afternoon with you all. So thank you.
This
You are
was a
so
lot of
welcome.
fun. Yeah. Again, thanks to Winter Growth and DMV Living for putting this together. And all right.
And thanks
What
to
do
the best MC anybody could ever have helping them.
who's that? Yeah. Okay.
Yep,
All
thanks.
right, y'all. This has been a lot of fun. We'll make sure to follow up with everybody. Thanks a million. And we'll be seeing you at the next collaboration. Oh, Rhonda, were you raising your hand
No.
there a little bit?
I
Oh,
just-
okay. All right. Okay. All right, y'all.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you.
See you
Bye.
soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.